What's up, guys? This is Showtime's Fight Forum. I'm your boy Showtime. As always, thank you guys for watching. Follow me on social medias at Showtime Sanders. This conversation is for UFC 267, and boy, I'm excited. One, because it's free. That's the biggest reason. And also, it's good. The reason why it's free is going to be on cable television. I wish they do this yearly. At least give us one pay-per-view. I mean, not pay-per-view, but one UFC event with title shots, title fights on local channels. I think that's a smart way to go. That's how you grow the brand. Boxing used to have free, I mean, they still do, but they used to have free title fights. It's a very smart decision, so why not? Now, I mean, these are one of the fights where it's smart to do anyways because it's a fun card. This card is fire. UFC 260, 267 and 68 are going to be amazing cards. But on the name totem pole, they're not big names. These are not interesting fights to casuals. People are not going to care about these fighters because, I mean, unfortunately, they're not like the big sales. They're not good on the mic. They're not great on the mic kind of stuff. Now, I mean, I want to do my fight prediction, but I just have to first say I'm super excited for it. Now, one fight that I'm really excited about is Kazmat. He is finally coming back. I think it's been a year. This guy was on a tear. This guy was fighting like every other week and just knocking people out, submitting people. He's coming back. He's fighting Ling Zhang, and this is going to be his toughest fight to date. This fight's very big. And also, you have to factor in the fact that Kazmat, he had COVID, and I think he retired at one point and came back out of retirement. I think they said COVID was really messing him up. He was having nosebleeds. He was having mental fog. He was really messed up. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he looks. The COVID, we already know, has been dangerous. Kill people. People have long-term effects. We're going to find out. Is he the same Kazmat that was just knocking folks out in 30 seconds? Or is he, unfortunately damaged goods because of COVID? And I mean, this is a fight that he should win. This is a tough fight, but he's talented enough. He's got great enough grappling to be able to, in my opinion, still out grapple him. He definitely can knock him out. I don't think Lee James is the greatest to stand up. So, I mean, it's going to be a very fun fight. How do I see this fight going? I'm going Kazmat. I'm going to go knockout. Hopefully, and I'm really hoping that, he didn't suffer too bad from the COVID and he's back to normal and we can get more fights from him because he's a uprising prospect and it's limitless. Once again, these Russians are ridiculous. They're taking over MMA. So what does it hurt to have another one? The next fight I want to talk about is going to be about Dan Hooker fighting Islam. Islam is back. He fought a month or two ago? Not a month. He fought 2 months ago. Dominating fashion. Now he has his toughest fight to date. A lot of these guys are getting really tested. He's fighting Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker is a solid fighter. He's always game. He's always down to fight. Great striker. Not the greatest grappler, but his striking is his main point. This is a tailor-made fight for Islam in a way, because I mean, Islam is a grappler, and that's not really Dan Hooker's strength. I have seen him get wrestled. Dustin Poirier, when they had that crazy battle, Dustin really sealed that win by grappling Dan Hooker and just taking him down. So, I mean, if Dustin, you don't like to do MMA math, but Dustin's wrestling isn't that great. Like, it's okay, but it's not great. Islam wrestling is great. It's elite. We already know. However, we have to factor in, Islam is not undefeated. He has been knocked out before. It's very possible that Dan Hooker catches him with a crazy knee or a hook or a nice shot. It's possible. Dan Hooker's a creative striker. You don't think he knows what Islam's going to do? Everybody knows. Now, it's easier to it's easier said than done to stop it. However, you can still prepare with knees and uppercuts to stop a guy that likes to wrestle. So, I mean, once again, you're going to ask Josh how I see it going. It's going to be a decision. I think Islam is going to take him down. I think he's going to work him. However, I will say it is very possible that Islam gets a first-round submission as well. But I'm going to, think Dan Hooker is game enough to survive, and he's just going to get dominated. And he's going to get beat up. I don't think that's just going to be a lay and pray. I think he's going to get beat up. Now, we're going to get into our championship fights. This is the fight that I'm more excited about any other fight in this card. In this card. It's going to be bonkers. And that's Pewter. I used to say Peter, but I guess it's Pewter. Pewter Yan fighting Corey Sandhagen. I mean, what can we not like about this fight? Two dynamic strikers, two tough fighters that can both knock you out. Both can knock you out with the head kick. They can knock you out with their hands. They got good knees. I mean, we already know the footwork with Corey is ridiculous. He's extremely tall and lanky. I mean, Peter, we already know he's going to stand there. He's a Russian, man. He's tough. He can wrestle, but boy, that man's just going to strike. And he's going to look very well doing it. Now, This fight wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to be Aljamain, but Aljamain did have neck surgery and he had to pull out. So Corey is coming in on a late notice, but it's not super late notice. I think it was like 2 months or something. Like, so he had enough time. And apparently he was prepping before, but a lot of fighters say that until they lose and they say, I didn't really prep. So we'll see once the fight actually happens. However, there's no excuse on why Corey can't win this. I don't think if he used the, time excuse, I think that's BS, because he's not like has to prepare for a grappler. He's preparing for a striker. And that's your wheelhouse. You had a tough fight with TJ. I honestly did think he won. And I thought TJ lost. However, it was very close, and I'm cool with them saying TJ won. TJ hurt, so now you got to put Corey in. This is for a B-side fight or a fight that a runner-up fight. This is more interesting than Aljamain, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure most fans would say that. If you're not a big fan of MMA, if you're like a casual watcher, you watch like the Connors and John Jones fight, watch this fight. I guarantee you, it will have you hooked. You will watch it from round 1 to whenever this ends. I don't really see this going the distance. However, if it does, this will be fight of the night if it goes 5 rounds, without a doubt, because these guys come to fight, and it's going to be a very dynamic striking going on, very, very high level striking. You say, Josh, how do I see this going? I am gonna go. Petr Yan is going to defend his belt. I think he is the best in the world, and I see him knocking out Corey Sandhagen. I like Corey. I like him a lot. I think his striking is great. I think his footwork is great. However, I don't care for his defense that much. I don't think he has the greatest defense. He doesn't use his defense as well as let's say Dominic Cruz. He uses it in reverse. He uses it to be offensive, not to be defensive like Dominic did, which leads him to a lot of opening shots. I do believe that he will leave himself open, and Yan is going to catch him with something brutal, and he's going to go night-night. I've been really bad with rounds. I've been right with predictions, just not the predicted round. So I ain't gonna do rounds, but don't be surprised if it does happen in the first, because Yan is that dude. And I will also say, the later this fight goes, I actually think it benefits Corey more than it will Petr Yan. Some people might disagree. Some people might say, we've seen Yan in later rounds, he looked pretty good. However, I think with the pace and the pressure that Corey will put him through, I think he will wear down a little bit more. So now let's go to the big fight. That is going to be Jan Blachowicz fighting Glover Teixeira. This is Glover's last chance to get a championship belt. Without this, he can still fight, but he's never getting a shot again after this. Now, Jan, the guy is the best 205er in the world per set purpose. I think Nemkov is better, but it's not by much. I think it's very close. I would love to see them two fight, by the way. But Jan, we already know, great grappler. He's great at striking. Is he elite at anything? I personally don't believe he's elite at anything. I think that he's great at everything, hence why he's the champion. Glover, we know he has knockout power. Striking, he has really good slips. He's gotten better ever since he switched to a different trainer, and the dude's been putting on some really good shows. Both these guys are on 5 fight win streaks. Both these guys on the older side, they're kind of past their prime, but it seems like Jan is kind of getting into his prime, even though age would say that he's past it, which is kind of weird, but yeah, it is what it is. However, I expect this to be a fun fight. I think these guys are going to stand, and I think these guys are going to throw hands. I can see Jan trying to mix up some shots a little bit, and maybe even Glover try, but I don't really see either or having the advantage more so with the grappling department. I think if anybody had an advantage, it would be Jan, but I don't think that it'll be used. I personally think Jan is just going to try to stand up with him. I think that he'll believe he's the faster guy. He's the more diverse striker. Jan likes to use kicks a little bit more, so I can see Jan honestly hurting Glover and finish him within the first 3 minutes. Jan, I'm not saying Jan's the greatest and he's the world beater, but I think stylistically, I just don't see how Glover beats him personally. I think it's a very tough matchup for him. So I'm going to go Jan by TKO or KO stoppage in the first round. And that is my fight predictions for UFC 267. Hope you guys enjoy. And I'm excited because I cannot wait to recap it. But thank you guys for watching. As always, this is Showtime's Fight Forum. Always be blessed.